¿Qué pasa YouTube? How's it going, everybody? Got for you guys today the final team building video of the second season of the UCL. And for those of you who may not be aware, we are currently like it says in the titles, we're in the finals. Like, this is the finals, like the actual finals, which is really crazy. I remember saying at the beginning that we would definitely make finals, and I guess it's a little surreal. I don't know. I guess is the word you could use to think that we're actually here at the finals, taking on Miguel, the coach of the Real Marill, man with a great track record in league format and makes pretty good videos. So check him out in the description below. Also, I want to give huge thanks to my boys Kaioken for jetting me my mons for most weeks. Thank you to my boy Schady for helping me draft throughout the drafting process that we had. And then shout outs to the GOAT, the man himself, our partner in crime, Paul Heyman, the assistant coach to the Durham Druddigons, Mr. Ellis, the GOAT again. Their Twitter link and stuff will be down in the description. Also, thank you to anybody else who's helped me in genning mons and just helping me out in general. I do plan to make a recap video, so that should be going up on Sunday, and then the finals match should be going up tomorrow on Saturday. What time should be in the description of this video, because this will be going live after Miguel and I play. So yeah, I'm super nervous and I'm so excited, and I really hope Miguel and I have a good match, and I hope that we prepped well enough. And this time it's not going to be like at 12 a.m. his time. So one last thing before I get into the team building video itself, let me know in the comment section below what you guys have thought about this season so far. I think it's been a really good season. Obviously, thank you to everybody who has supported me from the beginning. We are here in the finals, and I promise I will do my best to not let you guys down and pull out a victory for the Durham Druddigons and a championship for the Durham Druddigons. So yeah, let me know what you guys have thought about this season in the comment section below. I'm really interested to read what you guys have felt and thought about the season. So yeah, I think that's really all that I have to say. Of course, leave a like if you are excited that the Durham Druddigons are going into the finals and potentially going to win it all. True Cinderella story, I think you could kind of say. But no, at this point you've been able to pick apart my draft and Miguel's draft and maybe kind of got an idea of what we're gonna bring. So first off, I'll show you guys what I'm gonna bring. This is the team of 6 that will be representing the Durham Druddigons in the finals. We brought everything from our first matchup except for Crocodile. This time we actually have Bruno over him, the Reggie steal. So we have Tortuga, the official mascot of the Durham Druddigons. A lot of you guys really like Mega Blastoise. It's definitely put in a lot of work in this season. We have, of course, Bruno, the Reggie steal. We have Vicente, the Victini. Swagalif, the Sigalith. I know Joe is going to be excited that he's in the finals, so I'm hoping that Sigalith puts in as much work in our finals match as he did in our week 5 match against Miguel. And then, of course, we have Moonshine, the Cafebow, and then we got Horsepower. You can't see me, but I'm flexing. Ooh, Horsepower. Oh God, I have no muscles. Horsepower actually was our lead in our first matchup with Miguel, although this time we're pretty positive that he's not going to be leading Galvantula. We think he's going to want to bring probably a different set of Galvantula, although he could still be running Focus Sash. He could easily run something like Life Orb. Specs could be a little bit interesting, but I think Miguel is still going to appreciate having up the webs. But this more or less is what Ellis and I are expecting Miguel to want to bring. The last Pokemon is honestly just a toss-up. It could either be Klefki, if he wants another save check for Sigalith. If he wants to go a more offensive route, it could be Medicham. Exploud, he said Exploud was something that could have destroyed us in our first matchup, but he thought that we would bring Registeel. So this time we are bringing Registeel because we're pretty positive he's going to want to bring Lottie here and bring Exploud. But Exploud's a pretty solid choice. Reggie's Rock, as you saw, could potentially come again, but Regirock did nothing in our first matchup. Maybe Emboar. Not too sure if he would want to bring Emboar. Maybe a Bandit Emboar under webs could be a little bit scary to deal with. So I could see that maybe coming. Floatzel, I'm not sure why he would want to bring Floatzel. It doesn't 2 a KO. Registeel, Blastoise, or Cafebow, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure why he would want to bring this. More or less, I want to see he's going to bring Klefki over everything else. But the good thing about this is that he's gonna have to have rocks on Mamoswine, which means he has to give up one type coverage move, which is actually really, really good. So that'll be something that I'll be scouting out for. And this is the worst possible set that he could run in this matchup. Last time he brought Adamant Earthplate Mamoswine, which I don't know why. I think Life Orb would have been fine. But if he is Adamant Life Orb, then obviously the roles are different. But if he is Adamant Earthplate, then we're going to be able to take hits better and live hits easier, obviously. So, as you can see here, we have a defensive Mega Blastoise, and our original match, we had a offensive Mega Blastoise with enough speed to outspeed Mamoswine if webs were not up. So this time, Ellis and I are expecting him to maybe bring Jolly, although Adamant is still by far the better nature to have in this matchup, along with Life Orb and not Earthplate. Like I said, I really think he should have brought Life Orb in our first match instead of Earthplate. But if he doesn't have Regirock, then he's going to have rocks on this, so that's one less move that we're going to have to worry about, which is pretty nice. But if he does decide to bring the same set, then we can easily take 2 Earthquakes. If he's Life Orbed Adamant Max Attack, then it's going to depend on rolls. But if he is Earthplate, then we do live 2 without rocks from full. So that's really great. Ice Beam is still able to 2-hit KO any variant of Mega Latios, which we're pretty positive he's going to want to bring Mega Latios to be able to deal with Vicente a little bit easier and be able to have a safe switch into Sigilyph as well. Thunder Wave could be used, although he could also maybe use Calm Mind over this last slot. Surf is nice to be able to hit Registeel and Vicente for neutral damage, and he could have Psyshock or Dragon Pulse. Psyshock wouldn't be too bad if he wants to try to Calm Mind War against Cafebow, so that's going to be something to watch out for. But Ice Beam should still be able to 2-hit KO as long as he doesn't have too many boosts. Earthquake will be able to hit Klefki and Tentacruel for super effective damage, which actually Earthquake does more damage to Klefki if we Earthquake him and he's Spadef bulky. So we 2-hit KO him with Earthquake if he's Spadef bulky, and then we 2-hit KO him with Scald if he's physically defense bulky, and then if he's mixed defensive, I think we just 2-hit KO him regardless. So yeah, Klefki could be coming just to kind of be another safe check for Sigilyph, but even if it does come Blastoise, should be able to take it on 1v1. Earthquake, as long as Tentacruel doesn't burn us or knock us out with offensive Giga Drain or something like that, then Earthquake is still going to be doing a pretty good chunk of damage to Tentacruel. And of course, Rapid Spin is so we can get rid of hazards and not have them up on our side of the field. So moving on to the next Pokemon, we have Bruno, which of course was Krookodile last time, but the main reason we have Bruno now is because Ellis and I are very positive that he's going to want to bring Mega Latios to be able to check Victini and check Sigilyph, which means if he does not expect us to bring it, then he could also bring Exploud this time. So that's why we're mainly specially defensive bulky. But then again, if he does expect Latios, not Latios, sorry, but if he does expect Registeel, he could easily run Superpower on Tornadus. Assault Vest would be pretty nice, but Assault Vest I think is the inferior set in this matchup because he pretty much wants Taunt to be able to stop Clefable from setting up. But if he does for some reason bring Assault Vest, and that's just better for us, if you get what I'm trying to say. So the last matchup, he had Sludge Wave, U-Turn, and Taunt. This time we're pretty positive he's going to want to have Superpower or Focus Blast just to be able to hit Registeel if we do bring it. Superpower doesn't knock out Tornadus, but Focus Blast I think does OHKO Tornadus, OHKO Terrakion from full. So that is something that we're going to have to watch out for. But depending on whatever his last Mon is will determine how much pressure is going to be on Registeel, because Registeel can easily take on Regirock and Klefki, but if he has Medicham, then I have to play more carefully with Registeel. And I already have to play carefully with Registeel because he does have Mamoswine. The good thing about us having Iron Head is that we can actually do like 50% min to Mamoswine if I predict him to switch into it, which is going to be pretty great. Rocks, of course, are going to be super helpful in this matchup, especially if I can keep up offensive pressure and prevent him from spinning them. Then that just ensures 2 KOs from Sigilyph and Vicente and even Terrakion. And then late game, Clefable could potentially be too hard for him to take on 1v1. Then Earthquake, of course, is to be able to hit Tentacruel and Klefki Thunder Wave is just to be able to paralyze Mega Latios mainly. That way it's not as big of an issue. If, again, he doesn't have Taunt Tornadus, we can paralyze that. We can also paralyze Tentacruel, so Cafebow can outspeed it and maybe beat it 1v1 later in the match. Although, again, I have to play carefully with Registeel, because if I T-Wave and he switches into Mamoswine, then I'm kind of screwed, because he basically switches in for free, and instead of getting off that initial 50%, then I have to just sack something without getting anything in return. So yeah, again, Registeel is going to be very helpful in this match, I think, but he is, I wouldn't say high risk, high reward, because if I predict correctly, then obviously I can potentially beat the Mamoswine 1v1. So it depends how the match goes and what he brings, and that will determine on how Registeel is going to be in this match. The 12 speed EVs are to be able to outspeed Regirock if for some reason he does want to bring Regirock. Ironhead also 100% of the time breaks Substitute from Exploud if he does want to bring Sub Exploud. Sub Medicham could be a little bit annoying depending on its moveset, but we have Sigilyph to kind of take it on 1v1. And this time he may expect Sigilyph and not bring Medicham, so that's another thing to take into consideration. And another reason why he may not bring Medicham and he may want to bring Klefki. This way he has 2 Pokemon to check Sigilyph, and that relieves pressure from Latios. So that could be another option. But yeah, we can actually take 1 Earthquake too from Mamoswine, if I'm not mistaken, at full HP, if he is E-Plate. Which is Earthquake. So yeah, if he is Earthquake Adam and Mamoswine, then we can take 1 Earthquake, which is pretty nice. So at that point, if it's in range of Ironhead and we can live a hit and I don't need Registeel, I'm just going to sack this off to take down the Mamoswine. And then that's just 1 less problem that we have to deal with. Also, Registeel is our best answer to Galvantula, which honestly, Galvantula could be a really huge issue if we don't get Rocks up, which is why our best lead is actually Registeel. Registeel is definitely going to be the lead going into this match. Even if he leads a Mamoswine, we can just hard switch right into Victini because we do have Air Balloon again. So that's pretty great. A part of me thinks that he's not going to be expecting Air Balloon again, so depending on how the match is going, I may actually hard switch into Victini again. Like if he leads Mamoswine as we lead Registeel, then he's either going to go for Rocks or he's going to go for Earthquake. There's not a scenario where you would ever knock off unless you're insane. So I can hard switch into Victini, and then from there I can U-turn maybe, I can Blue Flare, I can even Grass Knot, or I could Side Shock, because with the proper prediction, Victini can literally just tear Miguel's team apart, which is really great. The only downside is, though, that he can keep Galvantula for mid to late game, and then he also has a Latios, which could come in, force us out, or potentially knock us out with the move. Then Klefki can just come in and threaten us out, because he could easily T-Wave us. So while Victini can put in a lot of work, Miguel does have certain answers for it. So I think in our first matchup we were actually modest, but this time we are timid to be able to potentially speed tie with Tentacruel if he does want to bring max speed Tentacruel again. And then of course we can also outspeed Jolly Mamoswine for whatever reason. We can easily live any 1 hit from Specs Galvantula if he does for some reason bring Specs. So we can live a hit, and then worst comes to worst, we'll just Blue Flare him and he paralyzes us. But as long as we can get rid of Galvantula, then that should be fine. The combination of Galvantula and Mamoswine is super annoying for our draft, but as soon as one of them goes down, then that'll give us a better leeway, and I can hopefully gain momentum back into my favor. So of course Blue Flare is to hit Gourgeist. We hit Tornadus for a good amount of damage. We can still do decent damage to Emboar. We obviously knock out Galvantula. Psyshock is a pretty good middle ground play if he doesn't bring the Klefki or Latios for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure he's gonna bring Latios. Like, there's no reason for him to not bring one of those two, if not both. We can also hit Grass Knot on the Mamoswine and on the Regirock. Again, doubt he's gonna bring Regirock. We can also Grass Knot Tentacruel for some respectable damage. But mostly the moves that I'm going to be going for, I think, in this match are U-turn, Psyshock, and Blue Flare. U-turn mostly until Mega Latios goes down, because again, Latios is going to be his only real answer to Victini. So he's going to have to be running a bulky set, potentially Calm Mind or Defog or Thunder Wave. So once I find out what kind of set it is, then we can go from there. So yeah, Victini, again, with the proper predictions, can definitely put in a lot of work. Same goes for Sigilyph here. Now, this is the exact same set that we had from our first matchup, although Ellis suggested that we could maybe run Substitute over Tailwind, and personally, I don't like Substitute because I feel like Sigilyph is just going to want to come in and knock out whatever is in front of it, or if I can make the proper prediction, I can knock out whatever comes in. Another good thing about Tailwind is that if it's like mid to late game and let's say I bring in Sigilyph on Tentacruel and Miguel switches out to sack something, I can get up to Tailwind, knock out that Pokemon he just switched in, and then potentially pick up another KO the following turn because my speed is going to be doubled, and unless he has a Scarfer, then nothing else can outspeed me, and Modest Sigilyph can really just wreck through Miguel's team. Again, which is another reason why Klefki could be brought along with Latios. If he brings Regirock, that's fine. We still have Psychic to hit that, then Ice Beam hits it for neutral, so that's not that big of an issue. But if he has Klefki and Latios, it's going to really come down to like 50-50s on what he's going to want to switch in every time against this thing. So depending on how that goes, I really think Sigilyph can put in a lot of work in this battle, and also being able to get Tailwind up for itself, or for something like Terrakion or Victini late game. So moving on down to Cafebow the Moonshine. Man, Cafebow has been an absolute monster this season in the UCL. Now, in our original match, we actually did not bring Calm Mind. We brought Thunder Wave over Calm Mind. The reason why we are bringing Calm Mind this time is, one, we expect Miguel to not expect this, if you get what I'm trying to say. Two, Cafebow late game can actually just destroy Miguel's team, and if it comes down to certain scenarios, then Cafebow early game after +1 can put pressure on Miguel, weaken up his team for the rest of our mons or the rest of our sweepers to be able to come in and win. But ideally, Cafebow, I'm probably going to save Calm Mind for mid to late game, and then that way Sigilyph, Victini, and Blastoise, and even Terrakion early mid-game can break down Miguel's team, get rid of the appropriate counters to this, because once Tentacruel is gone and once Mamoswine is gone, Cafebow can just come in, Calm Mind once or twice, and just win. If I can get up to +2 with Cafebow, then Tentacruel can't beat me 1v1. So if Mamoswine goes down, I get up to +2 with Cafebow, it's pretty much over for Miguel. At +1, we can live 2 Life Orb Thunders from Galvantula. Life Orb or Specs Boomburst does not 2-hit KO us from X-Cloud. We can live 2 Sludge Bombs or Sludge Waves from Tentacruel and just keep Calm Minding up. If he doesn't have Acid Spray, then we beat offensive Tentacruel 1v1, which is another reason why I'm pretty positive he's going to want to bring a defensive Acid Spray variant. Like, there's really no reason to run offensive, in my opinion. I think that was a poor choice for him to bring in our first matchup, although it did kind of weaken Cafebow. I think this time he'll be bringing a defensive variant. T-Spikes could be a little bit annoying, but it's fine. We should be able to deal with that accordingly, and then of course we can always just spin with Blastoise. Of course, Moonblast is for stab, Thunderbolt is basically our type coverage and our best way to hit Tentacruel. And I think that's really the only reason that we have Thunderbolt, is to be able to hit Tentacruel, which of course can lose to this Cafebow depending on what set he is. So what I'm hoping is that Cafebow will be able to Calm Mind late game and then win us the match after our previous team members that we mentioned, along with Terrakion, can break down Miguel's team, get rid of the counters, and then he may not even be expecting Calm Mind on this if I don't reveal it early on in the battle, which is going to be really, really great to catch him off guard. And also, yeah, T-Bolt also hits Tornadus for super effective damage and pretty good damage. And finally off, we have good old Horsepower, the Terrakion, which performed amazingly in our first matchup against Miguel. The idea behind the set was to be our lead, expecting him to lead Galvantula, and then Lumberry, as he thunders, we get rid of the paralysis, and then Rock Tomb lowers his speed, and then we outspeed him the following turn and knock him out. So that was basically the idea behind that set, and this is the exact same set, but this time we're not going to be leading off with it. The Thunder is still there. Not the Thunder, sorry. The Lumberry is still there. Just in the off chance that he does want to bring Klefki, then we can take the Thunder Wave and then knock it out with close combat if it's in range. We can also take a Will-O-Wisp from Gourgeist if I'm in a scenario where I absolutely need to Toxic it. If he paralyzes us with Galvantula's Thunder, then that's fine. We'll get rid of it because of the Lumberry and then go from there. Rock Tomb plus Stone Edge can actually beat Latios 1v1 depending on what set he is running. Toxic is also going to be helpful against a bulky variant of Latios and Gourgeist mostly. But Latios is what I think is going to want to bring instead of Gourgeist if it really came down to it, so we can Toxic Latios if it is a bulky variant and still be able to beat it. Close combat, we really don't need Fighting Stab, honestly, going into this match. Like, Earthquake would have been pretty nice, but I think Close Combat does a little bit more damage to Klefki than what Earthquake would be doing. And then Close Combat can also hit a Paralyzed Floatzel, we can also hit Regirock, we can hit Medicham for decent damage, we can hit Emboar and X-Cloud, we nuke Mamoswine, like there's no question about it. But yeah, normally Rock Tomb plus Stone Edge is probably going to be the two moves I'll be going for most in this matchup with Terrakion. So that's kind of the idea. We can slow down the Latios as it comes in and then just Stone Edge it if we don't miss, or maybe switch out to something else. But yeah guys, that is basically it. That is the team that we are going to be using. Again, this is what I think Miguel is potentially going to want to bring. Ellis and I are 95 to 99% sure he's going to bring these 5 Mons and sets very similar to these. So again, this will be up tomorrow on Saturday, and I'm pretty nervous, but I'm also really excited. So thank you all for watching, guys. Again, make sure to leave a like and let me know what you thought about this season of the UCL. Of course, hopefully the Durham Druddigons will be the champions and we can return for season 3. So thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you all for the support. It really does mean a lot to me, and just, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. And I'm so nervous.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.